Welcome back to Recap Kun. Today, I will be continuing my recap on The Aristocrat's Otherworldly Adventure, Serving Gods Who Go Too Far. At the end of the previous episode, Cain registered to become an adventurer, defeating 30 green lizards on his first day, and was promoted straight to being an A-ranked adventurer. We also learned that the gods intentionally made him insanely strong, because a being known as Aaron is about to break free from his seal. So they think Cain needs to get even stronger, thinking he needs to train with a certain master to reach the next level. We see Cain in bed, as Sylvia bursts in, apologizing because she forgot to wake him up, and we learn that today is the day of his academy entrance exams. Cain rushes out the door, as Sylvia continues to apologize, but he tells her not to worry, because he's not going to be late. As he gets outside, he uses a teleportation spell to get to the academy. He checks in for the exam, and he is given directions to his room. As he heads over, he finds it strange he doesn't recognize anyone on the list. When he gets to the room, he wonders if Telestia and Silk are taking the exam in another room. The examiner comes in and tells them they have 2 hours to complete the test, warning them that any cheaters will be immediately removed. The test begins, and it's just basic math and writing skills, which Cain finds easy, thanks to his knowledge from his previous life. During the test, the examiner sees him relaxing, but he says he is already finished, which surprises her because it's only been 30 minutes. After the test ends, they are told they will be moving on to the magic assessment, which gets Cain excited. They head out into the courtyard, and the examiner tells them they are to use their strongest spell at the target. Cain wonders if it will be okay to use his full power, and the examiner tells him the area is protected by a defensive barrier, so he can use any magic that he wants. We see a boy as he starts to chant and create a fireball, but it's so weak that it surprises Cain. Another student goes, and she is just as weak, making Cain realize that this is the level that most 12-year-olds are at. He was planning to use his Inferno spell, but realizes that would probably be a bad idea. When it's his turn, he creates a fireball which turns blue, and uses a fire bullet spell, but it ends up causing a huge explosion, blasting right through the wall. There is massive damage to the area, and Cain is confused, because he only used a beginner-level spell. The examiner can't believe her eyes, as Cain tries to explain himself. The examiner checks the area, and tells them to move on to their swordsmanship exam. They move to another part of the academy, where the examiner introduces some A-ranked adventurers who are there to help assess them. Cain is surprised to see Claude, who wonders what he is up to, and Cain explains he is taking the entrance exam. Claude wants to be his opponent, but Cain tries to decline. However, the examiner says that Claude is the highest ranked adventurer, so he can't refuse. The two prepare to fight, and Claude tells him to show him what he can do. Cain thinks he should be pretty strong since he is A-ranked, so he uses his boost skill and starts to attack. The two start to exchange blows, and the other kids can't believe how fast they are moving. Claude is impressed by Cain, saying he is stronger than the other examiners, but Cain tells him to take it easy, since it's just a test. But Claude gets too excited, using his own boost skill, and they start moving even faster. But their fight gets interrupted as the examiner tells them to stop, saying they are scaring the other kids. Claude thinks they went a little overboard, and decides to call it for the day, but tells Cain they should go on a quest together sometime, but Cain isn't sure that's a good idea. The examiner says he has seen enough, and tells Cain to go home and wait for the results. He heads back home, and Sylvia wonders how he did. He says everything went well, and Sylvia wants to have a party to celebrate. He says it's still too early to celebrate, but his stomach growls, and Sylvia rushes off to prepare him some food. At the palace, we see Cain as he is questioned by the king about the damage that he caused. Cain explains how the examiner told him he could use his full power since there was a barrier, but even though he only used beginner magic, instead of his new Emperor-level magic, it still caused massive damage. The king is surprised he can use Emperor-level magic, but Cain says he's not sure what would happen to his surroundings if he used it, asking if there is anywhere he could practice, but they tell him absolutely not. The king goes on to ask him where he took his exam, because Telestia complained that she didn't see him during the exam. Cain mentions how he checked in at the south entrance, and was directed to his room. Upon hearing this, the king asks him why the academy has a north and south entrance, causing Cain to realize his mistake, because the north entrance leads to where the nobles live, and he ended up taking the exam with all the commoners instead. The Duke mentions how this even caused a problem with the academy headmaster, as we see in a flashback, the headmaster telling him there is a problem with releasing the results because a commoner got a perfect score on the written exam, as well as destroying the training area and fighting on equal footing with an A-ranked adventurer, but the Duke just laughs hearing this, knowing it could only be Cain, and tells the headmaster to release the results. At the academy, the results are released, and Cain looks for his name. Silk calls out to him, telling him he is at the top of the class, while Telestia is second, and she is in third place. She teases him about the damage he caused, and tells him how Telestia was mad she didn't see him, making him worried he is in trouble. He suddenly sees his sister Rain, who is guiding some other students. She rushes over to him, overjoyed to see him. She is impressed he is the top of his class, and wishes him luck on his speech, saying that it's tradition for the top scoring student to give a speech at the entrance ceremony. Cain wishes Telestia could do it instead, but Rain tells him he doesn't have a choice. Cain returns home, and Sylvia is overjoyed to learn he passed, saying they need to celebrate, and that she will cook enough food to feed 100 people. She rushes off, and Cain thinks she is going overboard, but he thinks it's a good occasion to be happy. On the day of the entrance ceremony, Cain sees that his parents have come to watch him. He is joined by Telestia and Silk, charming them instantly, as they think he looks cute in his uniform. As the ceremony begins, the other students wonder who he is, jealous that he's sitting between the two girls. The headmaster calls Cain up to give his speech, and he introduces himself, mentioning how he got his exam mixed up, but looks forward to becoming friends with everyone, hoping they can all get along, and all the students cheer for him. The king comes out to congratulate all the students, mentioning certain irregular students, and Cain feels like he is being warned by the king. They get to their first class, and their homeroom teacher introduces herself as Elka. She tells them to think about their future and choose what they plan on studying. Cain wants to go for adventuring, but the girls object. Telestia says that since he is already a baron, he needs to learn more about being a noble. Cain gets upset, but Silk tells him he can choose more than one course. So Cain decides to go with nobility, adventuring, and magic. He asks what they are going to choose, and Telestia says she will pick nobility and internal affairs. Cain wonders why she is picking internal affairs, but she mentions how she wants to help him manage his domain in the future. Silk decides on nobility and commerce, wanting to also be useful to him in the future. As they leave their class, Cain sees some bullies picking on a girl. He notices her ear and realizes it's Parma from the item shop. The bullies turn out to be Habit and his boys, and they bully her for being a beast, saying she doesn't belong in their class since they are all nobles, but Cain steps in, saying nobles and commoners are equals at the school. Habit doesn't care, but soon realizes he is talking to Cain, remembering their past encounter. The boys wonder why he is siding with a commoner when he is a noble himself, but Cain says he is just siding with his friend. Habit threatens to tell his father to ruin Parma's family, but the girls approach, causing the boys to get on their knees and apologize. They are forced to apologize to Parma, and they quickly get away. Parma thanks Cain for his help, but the girls suddenly wonder about his relationship with her, making Cain kneel as they have a chat with Parma. He gets worried they are forming an alliance, but he suddenly hears a voice, telling him to visit the library. Cain decides to check it out, but as he opens the door, it leads to another space, and he is teleported to a room where he meets a man, who asks him if he wants some coffee. Cain demands to know who he is, wondering how there is coffee in this world, but the man says he has been waiting for him, calling him Kazuya, his name from his previous life. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.